Hello and welcome. Um, Welcome to Finding Contract Opportunities with the State and Caltrans. My name is Jessica Biro, and I'm the District Small Business Liaison for Caltrans District 5. I'm joined here by my co-host and my colleague Bob Adams from District 10, who's a Small Business Liaison there, and also Michael Aguillio, Small Business Outreach Specialist with the Department of General Services. First of all, our overview this morning, we're going to be talking about how to find contracts on eProcure. We're going to talk about how to find them on the Caltrans Contractors Corner. We'll look at how to prepare your firm to work on public works projects if that is what your business does. Talk about opting in, and we'll even give you some insight into what Caltrans is planning in the next 12 months. State agencies, including Caltrans, have three different certifications that they recognize and they provide incentives for. So for state contracts and procurement, there are incentives and goals for small business. There's also disabled veteran business enterprise, and both of those certifications are offered through the Department of General Services. Michael will be talking about those in a little bit. If the purchase has federal dollars, any amount of federal dollars, we provide incentives and we commit to using disadvantaged business enterprises. There are certain benefits to being certified. And this webinar here, we're not really talking about them, but you should know for the purposes of finding contracts that if you qualify for, say, disadvantaged business enterprise, you should definitely also apply for the small business certification. And that's so that you can be given the SB-DVB option for purchasing. You'll have more contracts available towards you. There are goals for all three of these certifications. The state of California, they have a 25% commitment to small business for all state contracts and procurement. There's a 5% commitment for disabled veteran business enterprises. And for disadvantaged business enterprises, we award 17.6% of our contracts, our federal contracts, to DBEs. Contractors can meet that DBE commitment by subbing or buying supplies from DBE certified firms. So again, if you're also a small business certified, you'll also want to look at criteria for the DBE certification. I'd like to introduce Michael Aguillio. Again, he's an outreach specialist with the Department of General Services, and he'll be leading us through a live navigation of the newly revamped eProcure website.
All right, hey. All right, I get to start. Wow. All right, so here's a brand new eProcure webpage. It has been redesigned, hopefully for the betterment of how you see and easy access to many of you who are new to the marketplace itself. One of the things, the key feature is at the very, very top in the pink area, salmon, whatever, people are better at colors than I am. There is a click here button just so that you can get an overview of how it has changed from then to now. So if you're interested, you can click here and it will show you the nuances that eProcure's new update. So we changed our homepage, the navigation aspect to CC bidding opportunities, otherwise known as the California State Contract Register, how to search firms, past purchases. They're all a part of the new website. So I just wanted to show you that just in case you wanted to see it. All right, but we'll get back to the live site itself. Everybody's wanting to know how to search for the California State Contract Register, how to find solicitation. So what we have done is we put that front and center on our marketplace. There's two ways to get there. One is you just click right here and search, or you can go down to quick links, find bidding opportunities. Either way, it takes you to the same place. So we'll just click here, and then it takes a while because it starts loading up all solicitations that are currently available for review. Now the search function is pretty simple. You can search by event name. So if there's any events in there or any solicitation that has the word water, they'll come up in the search. If you already know what the ID was, so if you already found it and now you're looking for it again, and the IDs are down here on the far left corner. So if you look at here, there's all a bunch of IDs. So if you already have the ID, you can search that way. Most people don't have the ID as yet unless you've already looking at solicitation. You can also search by the departments themselves. So if you want to look at what Caltrans is doing and only Caltrans, you just click down the drop down menu here, and it, of course, everything takes a minute to load depending on how fast your system is, and it will start listing all the state of California departments. We have I don't know, over a couple hundred departments, but you can just look, and then if you want to just look for Caltrans, it's easy to find. You just type Caltrans, and only Caltrans solicitations that in the database will come up. So here you go. You just got to click on the one you have. Ours, and it's not in the you click here, and for the department, if you want to put it in alphabetical sequence, now you got a blank screen, but now you got the courthouse all the way down to A's, B's, C's. So you can look up Caltrans itself, and it's actually they're the Department of Transportation. You click on that department, and then only the solicitations for that department will come up in the search. So you can narrow down how your search functions. Right? But one of the biggest features out here, let's go back one, is down here in the corner, you have advanced search criteria. This actually helps you weed out a lot of data and only look at things from a standpoint that you may, being dates. I just want to look at the current stuff through last month. Item description, for instance, I'm going to use that for our example here. Down here, you can choose the Unspsc code. So all of you should have, when you signed on and got certified, you had chose Unspsc codes, United Nations Standards of Products and Service Codes. So instead of looking at typing in the item description, you can actually search by the current Unspsc codes that you have in your profile. Service areas, you can narrow down the search so you have your criteria Unspsc codes, and here in the service area you can put like I only want to look at San Diego County. So start narrowing down your search to whatever you're looking for in that particular county. So if you only work in a certain area, you can narrow down your search, and then that's by eliminating all extra data that you really don't want to look at. Licensing types, for those of you who have contractors license, you can look up events just who are required the contracting license. So it really helps you with your search criteria. So let's go up here. Most people, like us, we're just looking for an item. We type in water, an example. We press search. So all the events at the very bottom here come up. In here, it's all about water. Something is happening with water, and it could be just the state of water here, but it has water. Now you can narrow it down more, like I said earlier, by putting in the search function San Diego. So now we strip away everything else other than San Diego. Or you search by the Unspsc codes that are embedded. And I want to show you something here. So if you click on these, on the specific solicitation, here's what you'll find. In here, it of course has the event ID. This is for the Department of Veterans Affairs. You'll look down here at end date, so it's due. It's on the 18th. You better have your bid in. There is no pre-bidders conference. Now, if there is, many of the Caltrans events or solicitations have pre-bidders conference. Here it will list you where, what time, location, and any other comments. What I was telling you about Unspsc codes, as you can see, this solicitation and all solicitations moving forward will be embedded a Unspsc code. That way, if your code matches the code that we have in the system, it should automatically send you an email saying, hey, by the way, since you have code 47101-519, which equates to water treatment and supply equipment, you may be interested in this new solicitation that's on the market. You'll get an email. And vice versa. If you just put that Unspsc codes in there, 47101-519, then only solicitations in our system will come up for your search. So there's a lot of functionality in here that we have now embedded into the new system to make it easier for you to find solicitations or opportunities. We're constantly, depending on your comments that we have currently receiving, we try to make some inroads to make it easier for you to find things. Here,
Michael, a quick question for you here.
Yes.
This coming from PC admin.
Okay.
And it's actually a two-part question. One's towards Caltrans, the other is towards you. So I'm gonna read this and then I'll answer the first part of it.
Yes, I'm good.
It says, my firm is a DBE certified in Washington State, and I just submitted an interstate DBE certification application to Caltrans. As such, is it a requirement to be domiciled in California to be certified as an SB MBE for procurements via the eProcure site? So I'll address the first part of that. As a DBE, you're on the right track for, if you're getting involved in Caltrans projects, to get your DBE certification recognized in the state of California. What you have done with the application process is correct. And I'm going to let Michael address the second half of that as far as the SB certification in eProcure.
Well, based on your comments there, you're out of, what did they say, Washington, Bob?
Yeah, they're in the state of Washington.
Okay, so the prerequisites, and I know that we didn't cover them in the very beginning, but one is that you have to be domiciled in California. So you have to be, and you're not. So in that aspect, you cannot be certified as a small business, a disabled veteran business enterprise, and or a small business doing public works in California. What I'll do is in our chat, I'll put a flyer in there so everybody will have the same information regarding eligibility requirements. But the DBE certification is outside of my preview. I know about it, but as we have Caltrans on the line today, they're best apt to answer.
And we do recognize that. It just and they're on the right track for submitting that to Caltrans. They have the application in, so they, our certification unit in Sacramento will go through that, and hopefully be able to get you recognized in the state of California as DBE and on our list for participation in state contracting.
Fantastic. Send all those questions in. We have a small group today, and we definitely want to make sure that we answer as many questions as possible. The more you ask, the better we can field and hopefully narrow down what you don't know with some of the answers that you should maybe have known. All right, so here in this solicitation, you can see right here that this contains a 3% DVBE goal. So in all of these solicitations, we'll either have a small business preference, which is a 5% bid preference, or a DVB incentive. If these you as a supplier can meet these goals, you'll get some added percentage points added to your solicitation. But that's a whole different process, not a part of this particular presentation. The key elements that here that's really important for you as a bidder is these items here. One is the contact information that is provided to you. We also provide you email address, in this case to Martha Castillo. If you have questions when viewing the package, so you can view the event package, which is up here in the top right hand corner, you click that, it'll start to add whatever attachment is available to you. You can download these attachments and read them. But if there's any questions, something you don't understand, by all means reach out to Maria. Maria can then answer your questions. She will post them online. And everybody will be on the same page. Your questions can have an intricate part of having maybe change. If you don't agree with some of the language that are put in there based on your input, we may change what the IFB information or invitation to bid is. That's what an IFB is. And then we have an addendum to change something that may not be fair, if that is the case. One of the biggest things that I wanted to point back here is this item right here. You can post, as you're looking at solicitations, opportunities, you can actually post vendor ads. So let's open this thing up. This is huge for you as a supplier. Now, what happens is because there's a DVBE goal there, a prime who may be bidding on this project. We didn't really look at opening up the bid package, but if you open up the big package, it's a multi-million-dollar package. You as a sub thinking, whoa, that's way outside of my scope. But since there is a veteran inclusion part of that, and it could be a small business part in there as well, we just happen to put up water. You can put an ad in there. So you'll put your name, your email address, your phone number, your title of your company. Here though is where it's really key. You're going to put either your prime seeking sub or sub seeking prime, but under the description, our recommendation, actually it's my recommendation, is that you include your small business and or DVBE certification in there. The reason being is I teach this class to major corporations, and I'm finding out that major corporations, when they come in to look at these advertisements, let's go back. There's probably no advertising on this particular one, so you can view the ads. See, there's none. If there's advertising in there, they download it and they weed out many of the people who do not put their certification right off the top. This is their way of identifying potential suppliers that are more engaged in doing what they say they're doing. So it's huge. That's available to you in his particular where to find solicitations.
Couple quick questions here. Christy Stevenson asks, will SB Micro ever be considered to be a DBE? And the simple answer to that, Christy, is no. We're talking two separate programs. So the small business certification is for the state of California in state contracting dollars. The DBE is a separate federal certification. So we're talking apples and oranges when it comes to those certifications. So I hope that answers your question there. Mariah asked this question: what is the difference between searching a keyword such as water as an event versus item description on eProcure? Do the same results come up?
Well, eProcure, we're looking at eProcure. Is that so we're here at the search function. Right. I'll tell you what the difference is. The event name, it can be, let's say if I just delete it here and I just put event name as a water. Okay, so what happens is on the event, and we press search down here, in the event name, it will pick up anything that in the event name, which is this stuff down in here, which has water in it. So if you look close, you'll start picking up stuff. It says water plant, not a problem. But as you scroll down, it'll start picking up stuff that, Department of Water Resources. They're looking at technical support. It may come up with other things other than what you're looking for. Heavy equipment rental, see? Where does that have to do with water? Well, the Department of Water Resources put it out there, and that's part of the event name. Okay, so if you're looking for a specific item that you have and you want to put it under the item description, it may come up in the event name, but it will include a whole bunch of other information that you probably don't even want based on what department has or may be included in all of that. But under the item description, that is built into a certain another area altogether of what we're actually looking for. So it will narrow down the possibilities of this is what you're actually trying to buy and or services that you're trying to provide, as opposed to the event name itself.
So the easy way maybe of what Michael was saying, I think too, if I can, at the top, you had water in there. So water resources come up. If you put water in the descriptive area, it may bring up water for, let's say, Cal Fire, for supply water to firefighters.
Right. So you'll get less. In other words, you'll get the Department of Water that has nothing to do with water, other than the fact that it's a department. So you may get, like here, Department of Water Resources. If you look at my cursor, they want circuit breaker services. So are you doing circuit breakers, or are you trying to sell water? And that's the difference between the two functions in that search area. So to narrow down what you're selling, you want to make sure that's down here in the item description as opposed to the event name. The event name will bring anything that has up to do with water, including the Department of Water Resources that are selling, or not selling, that they're procuring breakers. Now, if I put breakers here and press search down here, then only will bring up any items that we have for just breakers. So look at it. We have one, Department of Water Resources. See, they're selling breaker service or buying breaker services. So it narrowed down everybody else, got rid of everything else, and just look for breakers. So this will help you with your search function to find specific items that you do without having to search and scroll and look at everything. Although you may want to, but this actually helps you narrow down what you're looking for. That's my recommendation. You just don't want to look at everything if you don't have to, unless you have the time and energy to do so. These are just little nuances that we have available to you.
Is there a format for the ads they should follow?
There is no format other than the fact that in the ad, the recommendation I have for you is to start off with your certification number. Follow that by a description on why you are so valuable to this operation. We've been in business 25 years. We have these examples of, what we have provided and or, satisfied customers. You're trying to, make sure that you are the best candidate by providing a description of why you are the best. It's pretty much an advertising, like it says, placing an ad. But one of the key factors in that ad is your certification number.
Perfect. That's perfect. Thanks, Mike. Also, one other question from Jim. Jim asks, I work for EarthCam. They provide construction cameras for time lapse, live stream, and security cameras. The general contractor is normally the one who asks them for bids. Asking, is it possible to search for these camera specs? Then I should go back to the site to find out who got the actual award. So I guess the first thing, is it possible to search for what he has for the camera specs in eProcure?
Well, yes. When you go into search, so you'll go into the search function, right? You'll type in cameras. The only thing is when you're doing that and you're finding solicitation for cameras, you'll scroll down, we'll do the advanced search like I recommend. And you're right. If you put in camera, CAMERA, right? Oh, cameras. Either way it works. It probably won't come up because we're not buying any cameras. What's happening? Let's see. Does it say something up here? Yeah, no events meet the right criteria. Most cameras are embedded in other solicitations, like you said earlier. A prime has, construction site. They're looking for security. That is in part of. That's what I was saying is, in order for you to find out the specs of the camera, you have to download the solicitation, look through the specs to see what they're looking for in regards to that area. They might not even be built into that because the prime is seeking something else outside of our. We don't care about the security, whether they do. So now they have something else embedded in their services that they're looking for outside of what we may want, other than the fact that, hey, we want you to construct this particular, bridge. But the contractor say, well, yeah, I got the bid for the bridge, but what they're trying to do is secure their site because we're not paying you to secure your site. We're paying you to build a bridge. They might be doing something else altogether different. So it's a communication tool. You have to ask. My recommendation is you ask the contractor, or you can ask the contract administrator. Hey, look, we've got somebody asked me about a camera for this solicitation. Could you help me find the specs? It's pretty easy. That's why we give you the contractor's name in these solicitations. Who to reach? Send them an email. I just said it to you earlier. Always ask the questions. Now you want to talk about post award. Now post award is a part of eProcure. So I'll go back, go to the home. And it's not necessarily part of this, but since you've already asked that, you can actually go to eProcure. We just put home here. All right, so we go back to home, and here, procurement public information, fourth bullet down, is right here. Past purchases in state contracting. You can actually look up anything that has been awarded since 2009. It's huge. So in here, I always use advanced criteria. You have to have the solicitation number. That's the reason why I'm saying it's important to you. The description, you would put in here cameras. Press search. Of course, it's going to come up with all kinds of different cameras, even the ones that. But it takes a while to do this because it's searching for thousands and thousands of items. So you got to sit here and wait for it to come up, or you do what I ask, is that you find, here we go, it actually came up. See here, they're buying all kinds of different cameras. Pro X, don't ask me because you're the expert. Pro computer webcams, security box, trail cameras. The state buys obviously a whole bunch of different cameras. So, and you can see here, since everybody's looking really quick, let's check this out. We tell you what department is buying it, what it was, the grand total thereof, who actually won it. In this case, Sky Dio. And if we look down here, you can see the buyer's name and the email address. So what I've shared with you based on the question, and that was a nice question to ask, is where do I find historical information? Well, here's historical information. You can use this information too for your, to finding, how do you want to put it, marketing. Who do I market to? Well, we gave you the buyer's name, we gave you the cost, we gave you the department. So now you know to reach out to the department because they buy your products and services. This is one of the things that you can use this information for. One of the big key aspects too is also looking at what the cost was. So before you go to bid on anything with the state of California, see what we bought it for last. It's huge opportunity for you to, find information that you can use to ensure that your bid is close to what we're expecting it to do. So that's where you find that information. Pretty unique stuff in here. One of the things though is really cool is that if you are a certified small business within the state of California, and some of you were, the marketplace changes. Okay, so what you would end up doing is you log in and register here, right? My time is coming up real quick. So when you log in and register, you actually have your own web marketplace landing page. Check this out. This is what you'll start seeing from now on if you're a certified small business. Welcome to your work center. You'll see your name, your business name, your telephone number, which you can edit, your certification types. As you can see, this is a DVB. They're doing public works. For whatever reason, they canceled their certification. You can edit your account, manage certification, view your online profiles. All of this now is available to you, but you still have those functions. Your resources, selling to the state, checking out information, quick links, finding bidding opportunities, finding past purchases. It's just that now you have your own personal marketplace page that shows all your information, and you can make edits to your page. So if you sign in, this is the new face that you'll start seeing other than the public facing page, because we have a lot of businesses throughout the world looking at eProcure to find opportunities, and our reciprocity partners do the same thing. They can go in and look, but if you're certified, you want to log in at a certification center, and from here you can manage your account, your certification, and do all your bidding from your spot. You got two things. You got the bidder ID. All of this is available to you on our new page. All right, so that's pretty much everything that I want to show you. Got any major questions? I can show you more in depth, but one of the biggest things that I want to show you is this. Go into www.dgs.ca.gov. On the top right hand corner, you'll type in dashboards. When you press search, check what happens and it comes up. Let's go right on. We have a brand new page, statewide procurement dashboards. That is a hidden gem that a lot of people don't know exists. Check this out. What departments spend what? UNSPS spend. So if you want to know who's spending under the Unspsc codes, you can look this side up. Over here, let me scroll over if I can get it over there. How to do this. Statewide contract spend, the top spend departments, top spend UNSPSC codes, certification types. It's all there for you. Top 10 spends, what department. So these are just avenues for you for your marketing aspect. What you can see, how do you want to market, who's buying what. All of this is now available to you in a hidden place. Well, I shouldn't say hidden. It's a place that we had, but nobody realized it was there, and we kind of keep adding more platforms to. Is the dashboard. Problem is, it does take a while to open because there's a lot of information that is embedded in this giant Excel spreadsheet. Here we go.
Michael, can you tell us again how you got to those dashboards?
The
Hidden
dashboards. You go
gem?
to www.dgs.ca.gov, right? And in the top right-hand corner, it's a search function. You just type in dashboards. That's the fastest and easiest way to get there. So you go to the DGS
Thank you.
homepage, and then you go to type, search the dashboards. Otherwise, you're kind of clicking. I don't like doing that. I don't know about anybody else. I like fast and easy.
Just one real quick question, and I think we can answer this verbally. William Smith was wondering, are prior winning proposals public or eventually made public? For example, I think you answered that in what you just showed, though, in the Skipper's database. But if I want to know what a winning proposal looks like and see one for a similar project done in the past.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't show you the proposal. You got to ask for those. It'll show you who won, how much they won, all the information you just saw. If you're looking for the proposal itself, you have to send the email to the contract administrator and ask, for those proposals, and you can see it. You'll get them. There may be a cost to them depending on how you get them, via paper, mail, there's a charge for that. If they send you through email, which I don't know if they will, most people won't. They want them in writing, but there might be an additional cost. It used to be like 10 cents a page, but since we have now virtual and our internet, that might change. It might be for free.
So I just have a real quick question for the person who asked that question. If you're in construction, Caltrans provides the post-bid files under the awards tab on Contractors Corner. So we can go over that later when we're going through our live navigation of Contractors Corner. But any more questions for Michael before he leaves us? He is quite a resource, and I just like
I'll stay on just to listen to your guys' presentation. Just in case there's any more questions. So if somebody comes up with a new question or something comes up to your mind, I'll be here for the entire presentation.
Thank you so much for your time, for sharing your expertise. And I appreciate you hanging out just for a little bit more. We'll have a nice discussion at the end of it. So the next part of our presentation here is, so I'm going to talk a little bit about how to prepare your firm for public works. First of all, public works contractors will need a California contractor's license, and it does vary. The license type varies on what type of work you perform. There is also a requirement with the Department of General Services. I'm sorry, the Department of Industrial Relations, or DR. That registration is required for anyone providing labor on a public works project. And that doesn't matter if the project is for a Caltrans project or another public agency like a city or a county. All Caltrans projects are considered public works. So if you're gonna, work on a project for us, provide labor for us, then you need to be registered with the DIR. There are some requirements for certificate of insurance, like commercial liability. I think there's, if you employ employers or employees, there might be other workers' compensation coverage, that sort of thing. You'll need to have the ability to obtain surety bonding. And Bob just provided some great presentations on bonding. Different primes have different bonding requirements, but as a general rule, if you will provide a large scope of work or technical scope of work as a sub, the prime contractor will most likely require you to obtain this. Now, if you're providing supplies, that we're not really talking about that. We're talking about, people who are providing a technical part or a permanent fixture on a contract. You also need to understand labor compliance and how to submit certified payroll. We're going to have an event coming up in April 27th and 29th, an 8-hour overview. And so if you'd like information on that, do check that out. One thing that smaller businesses struggle with, I've heard it said that sometimes they don't get paid right. And so that's obviously, as a business owner, it's very, very important to you. Before you take on, the contract or the subbing, you'll need to have the necessary capital set aside so that you can wait for payment for several months. As a small business owner, you need to be able to upfront the costs of fulfilling the contract and float those costs, right? And then after the work is complete, I believe the state has 45 days after, it is 45 days is a prompt payment act, 45 days after receiving an undisputed invoice to pay the prime. And then after the primes get paid, then the prime contractors pay the subs and suppliers. And Bob, do you know how many days they have to pay them? Is it 7 days? I'm not positive on that one.
I don't have that off the top of my head, Jessica.
All right, so in any case, the primes do pay the subs right after they're paid. Now, the last one is, we've already talked about it, and Michael was kind enough to talk to us about the way that small businesses have their business profile on Caltrans if you certify as a small business or DBE or SBPW. But you'll need to obtain those small business certifications that the state recognize in order to get those set aside contracts like mine or other, SB, DBB option contracts. That's a really great thing to do if you're going to be working for Caltrans. All right, so moving on next. Oh, we're going to look at the look ahead. I promised you a quick peek at what's coming up, and I'm going to show you right now how to find that. So there's an architecture and engineering look ahead, which is, we call it A&E, and there's a construction look ahead. The very first thing you do is find the Caltrans website, and we'll do this here in just a minute ourselves, is to go to a search engine, DuckDuckGo or Google Works, and you just plug in the words Caltrans Contractors Corner. Oh, I like the way that looks. And the very first line that pops up will be a direct link to Caltrans Contractors Corner. You could also pop in the words dot.ca.gov. And then once you get to this website right here, a little icon here that says work with Caltrans. And then this screen will pop up and you click Contract Corner. So there's two different ways to get there. Once you get to Contractors Corner, you'll scroll down until you see all these links. We're going to be spending a bit of time, about 10 minutes here today, talking through all these links, maybe 15 minutes. And then this is where we go to those post-bid award files we were just talking about under the awards tab. But in order to find the look ahead report, you're going to click advertisement for the construction look ahead and then select 12-month advertising schedule. And for the A&E look ahead, you're going to select A&E contract information and click the A&E look ahead report. And we'll go to those sites in a minute. You'll need to open them and download them as Excel spreadsheets. And this is what they look like. And we'll take a look later on the look aheads that are currently advertised. Okay, so you're ready to work with Caltrans. One thing you'll need to do is once you get to the Caltrans Contractors Corner, you'll see a link, first time bidders, click here. You'll need to click that. The reason why is because the link will take you to the Caltrans electronic bidding guide. There's a little icon here to the right, what it looks like. This was just updated in I guess a couple months ago, November 2020, and it provides step-by-step directions on how you establish an account so that you can submit bids for the Caltrans effort projects, because all of our bids are submitted electronically. So the software we use is called AASHTO Project Bids Software. And if you have questions about that, please reach out to DSBLs, District Small Business Liaisons, just like myself. The easiest way, again, to access a Contractors Corner is to type into a search engine, Caltrans Contractors Corner. Hey, it's already popping up for me. And there it is, the link. This is the link you want to you click on. It's the first listing on a Google search or a DuckDuckGo search. And I'm just going to minimize that little there. New updates as of, and we're going to scroll down to all of these links right here. This should look familiar with the sites I just showed you. Before we get into these links, though, I just want to take a minute and go to the main Caltrans website. So I'm just going to click the Caltrans link here. So this is our main hub. All Caltrans sites are linked to our homepage at dot.ca.gov. And I'm going to click Caltrans near me. You'll see why here in a minute. This is a map of all of California, and Caltrans is divided into 12 different districts. Today we have a DSBL with us from District 3, District 10, 5, and 9. So we'll be talking later with all of you. So most of central area here is represented by DSBLs here. So pay note of which districts, which counties are in your district and who you would want to talk to. The next thing I want to show you is I'm going to go to work with Caltrans, and I'm going to go to Contractors Corner. Well, because that's where we're going to spend most of the day. And we're just going to select this right here is Contact Us. This provides you with email information. I'll click it to contact the office engineer. So each of these links gives you direct contact information with the office engineer. Here's a Caltrans contractor interest registry. It's one way to market your business if you can provide emergency work to Caltrans. If you were to register, you'd have to fill out this form. But something to note is that every single district has an emergency work coordinator. So it's best to contact the district small business liaison in the area that you work and let them know all of the information that you would normally submit on this form. Send it in an email to the DSBL and say, hey, I want to be added to your emergency work contractor list and your minor B contractor list. Now, it's best, obviously, to work with local assistants and minor B contracts because you'll need to prove yourself and your capacity and your ability to take on emergency contracts, because whoever can mobilize and is most qualified to get this work done quickly to reestablish the roadways and catastrophes are given this work. It's not advertised. It's the construction engineer and the contractor agree on a price, and then maybe the contractor that might sub out some of that work.
Yeah, just one quick note. Before you sign up for the contractor registry, it's important to realize that, like Jessica said, that forgoes the formal bid process.
Yeah.
And it's almost expected that you have Caltrans experience and the labor compliance aspect, certified payroll, all of the necessary experience to deal with those types of projects before you submit to them. So I guess what I'm saying is just have some experience under your belt with Caltrans before you submit for emergency work.
Absolutely. And a good way to do that is to get into minor B work, which is given to small businesses that are certified, or to get into assisting with local assistance projects. After this meeting, please go through all of these links. I'm going to quickly go through a few, but please come back. Like Bob says, you're not going to break anything clicking through here. You just click it, see what's going on. There's a lot of resources all throughout all of these tabs and all of these links. So do please spend some time in here. I'm going to take a minute here and go into this Business Enterprise Programs link. It'll take us directly to the Office of Civil Rights website. There are a lot of resources here for certified small businesses, and this is also where you go to start your Disadvantaged Business Enterprise certification. The first thing I want to point out here is a link to all the district small business liaisons, such as myself. And you were familiar that we do have 12 districts. These are all of their emails and phone numbers, contact information. Next on this page, I want to point out Caltrans events. The Office of Civil Rights promotes statewide events that the DSBLs put on. There are quite a few coming up. Anything from, best practices on working with Caltrans that District 11 puts on, how to do business, to, a DBE summit, which is going to be huge in just March 30th, right here. Just click it, and then you just click the link to register. Another great event that's coming up that I mentioned is that labor compliance, April 27th, day 1, April 29th, day 2. So just save those dates, and Bob will share links on those later. I'm going to go back to the Civil Rights website. Here is where you go to get that DBE certification. Again, Caltrans is one of 8 certified agencies. Just click that link, and then how do I become DBE certified? Click that link. Read through. DBE is for socially and economically disadvantaged groups that belong to different minority groups, and there's a definition here. If you feel that you qualify and you want to work on public works, then download this package of instructions and the personal net worth statement, fill it out, and mail it to this address here. I'm going to go back to the OCR website. There are a lot of resources again on this page. So I'm going to again go back to Contractors Corner. So that was a link we took to go to the OCR website.
If you were DBE certified, that applies to the whole state, is that correct?
Actually, it's a federal certification, so it applies to the whole US, which is awesome. Yeah, it applies to state contracts that have any amount of federal dollars, and a lot of our Caltrans projects do have federal monies in them as well. So you'll see a DBE commitment. I mentioned that the state has a 17.6 commitment for our federal contracts to DBE firms, and 25% of all of our contracts go to certified small business. But if the contracts are looked at on a contract by contract basis, and a DBE commitment is set for each contract, and we'll look at some of those contracts later.
I think I was just going to clarify, we're talking about the DBE certification as it applies to Caltrans.
Yes.
As it applies to cities and counties, that may vary per region, so you may want to look into that. But the DBE certification is recognized throughout the state of California, especially with our, of course, Caltrans projects. But it may vary depending on which government agency you're looking at or local agency you're looking at.
These contracts under $333,000, Caltrans calls them minor B projects. And these projects are valued at this amount or lower. So the great news is that many small businesses can bid on and compete and complete those projects as the sole or the major contractor for the job. I'm going to go ahead and click this link, and it'll take us to the Division of Procurement and Contracts, or DPAC. DPAC manages these contracts. As you can see, they manage not only IT and non-IT commodities, service contracts, A&E contracts, again, minor Bs, we talked about that, minor B contracts, and CalCard. And what our minor B coordinator does in District 5 is he sends, hey, I've got this project under $333,000. He sends it to DPAC. DPAC lists it here. Contracts out for bid. Do you see this right here? Contracts out for bid. And DPAC will put it here, but there is a caveat here. Not all contracts are listed here. So you need to go to eProcure. If you click this link, guess where it's going to take you? eProcure. That's right. It was just showing us that. So that the eProcure list is all inclusive. These are just recently minor B contracts that are listed, other service contracts, janitorial, all those contracts that are really set aside often for minor B. So you want to be on the minor B list for the districts so that you're contacted by DPAC when that contract goes out to bid, or you have the Unspsc code. Let's just look at this. Or you have the UC code that's on that minor B project. See, minor B. Going down, there's the Unspsc codes that you might be notified of this project.
So there's another question, and it's from Jose Munoz. And he says, how does a service business find if any contracts will need our service? They don't sell products. They're a transportation company. They're not in construction per se.
You provide service like bus transportation, or can you clarify, sir, what your business is?
Can you? Yeah, it sounds like so they're not construction, but they're maybe a delivery type service or transportation. So the easy answer, I think, Jose, is that what you're going to be looking for is in eProcure for the most part, unless there are services needed for transportation by the prime contractors for deliveries of services or of product they need for their projects, right? So then you would have to go directly to the prime contractors and determine how you might be able to come involved in those projects.
So I'm going to go back to the main area here. We're going to quickly peruse the A&E contract information site. A&E again is architecture and engineering. There are several links I'd like you to pay attention to. The first one is this advertisements link. Again, DPAC is the overarching person unit that provides these advertisements. So if you click this advertisements link, these are all the new A&E advertisements, lots of on-call having to do with engineering. There are on-call, and there's also contract-specific contracts. And again, you can also find them on the eProcure website. Moving back to the A&E website, the CalMentor area, District 5, 6, and 10 is part of Central Region CalMentor. If you are an A&E firm, you do want to these links and see how you can become involved so that you have more information. There is a lot of resources here, and a different outreach events calendar is on the A&E page other than the OCR one. So if you're, again, an A&E, check out upcoming events. Many of them are on-call contract outreach. There's other outreach events also on the OCR events page, which I showed you earlier. Moving on up, here's our A&E look-ahead report, right? I'll go ahead and take a peek at it. When you click it, it'll pop up as an Excel document. So I'm opening that right now, and I'm just going to pop it up on my screen. And this is an A&E outreach look ahead. Show you the district, the dates, all kinds of work description. All of this is on here. So do take a look at that if you're interested in A&E work. I'm going to go back to our main Contractors Corner area. I would like to say that there are a few new links here. I haven't gone in deep into some of these links, but there are different types of ways that Caltrans puts out projects. One of them is a design build project. Another way we put out projects is the CMGC program. CMGC projects won't be on this link, but where they would be is on our larger advertised contracts. I am going to just point out very quickly that this is where you start. This is your first time bidders click here link. So if you haven't done this, you'll want to click this first time bidding electronically link. And here's that link to the electronic bidding guide that we shared earlier. And it is a pretty big document. Again, it was just updated. So if you have any questions on that, you can click this last link here, frequently asked questions about electronic bidding. Now I'm going to go to our main source of large contracts for Caltrans. So I'm going to go out of the Contractors Corner back to the main page, and I'm going to click Work with Caltrans, and then I'm going to click All Projects Currently Advertised. And we just have just a few more minutes here to go through all the how to read and add. I hope you're familiar with this. This is really exciting. You can jump to a specific project if you know which project you want to look at, or you can also sort them. But projects are listed by the first two numbers are the district that they're in. I'm just going to scroll down. The District 10, where Bob lives, in Stockton. We got 1 and 5 and 6 in the Valley. 7 is LA. District 10, contract number 1C7604. The first thing you'll see is a list of bid items. It'll give you a list of all the things that you might want to be able to participate in this project as a sub. So the first thing you need to do, look at the list of bid items. It's a list of all the tasks from the start of the job to the end of the job in chronological order, basically, of everything that will need to be done on the job. So if you're looking at this and you provide, well, say you provide clearing and grubbing, or how about you provide roadway excavation and you say, hey, I can do a part of this job. I can't take on the whole job, but I can do a part of this job. What that means is you're going to want to take a look at the project plans, the notice to bidders and special provisions, and the bid book, and just kind of look at more information about this job, right? So yeah, so you say, hey, I can do that. I'm going to look at this notice to bidders and special provisions. I'm going to select these files. I'm going to download them from the comfort of my office, and I'm going to print them. Then forms for bid, again, they're available for download. And there are no bidder inquiries, but pay attention to any addendum with new items. They're in red. So again, take a look at it, download, print. When you're ready to let know, hey, I'm interested in this. This is not how you would bid. It's just letting your opting in is probably the most important feature of this whole entire ad. What it does is it lets potential primes know what work you're willing to do to perform on the advertised project. So it's a way for primes to find you and for you to find primes who are looking for small businesses. It's probably honestly the most important feature on this website. You'll need to sign in, obviously, and create an account. So I won't be able to show you, but once you sign in and do that, you can add or edit opt-in records. If I signed in right now, all you'd see is my home address, so I don't want to do that for you. But what we can do is we can see the 13 opt-in records. So these are all the people that have said, hey, I'm interested in doing work. You want to list your disadvantaged status. or your certifications. And these two, you really need to specify what services you're willing to offer. So this one was left blank, but what you can see is this person here, right, well sweeping, they're saying, hey, we can do sweeping. We have over 30 years of experience. This is what I can provide for you. Please call me. Please let me know for a quote, right? So they're specifying what services they can do on that contract. There's 11 different ones. Again, they're not actually bidding on the project. They're letting them know. And then here's one prime contractor. He's thinking about bidding for this job. He's looking for help. So he can post an ad and say, hey, I'm definitely interested in this job, you know, but this is what I need. And then you can see the bidding plan holders. So there's the job. It's installing minor cost paving and roadway excavation. It talks about the post mile, which is a way of measuring where you are on the highway. It shows a date advertised as February 22nd, the bid opening date, and estimate is $1,900,000. Now, as a small business owner, you might only have a bond for $1 million, so maybe you can't bid for it, but you could opt in and you could contact the prime or the awarded prime and say, hey, I'm ready to sub for you. And if you're a DBE, you'd be really excited to know that they have a 17% DBE requirement that they need to meet. That's their commitment.
Just one quick thing, where Jessica was just showing you the 17% DBE requirement there. What that's telling you is this is a federally funded contract. If it were a state funded contract, and this is where the importance between the DBE and the state certifications come into play, and we're talking about the DVBE, the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise, you would see the goals listed there where she has highlighted right there. There's a DVBE requirement, and that's telling you that's a state funded contract. So a little bit of different between the two, but from the federal side to the state side.
All righty, I'm just going to go back up to Contractor's Corner. I know we didn't spend a lot of time there, but I'm going to go back up to Caltrans, work with Caltrans, Contractors. Here it is. Scrolling down, I want to just quickly show you again the 12-month look ahead is under the advisement tab. There it is. And then here's the 12-month advertising schedule. If you take a quick peek at it, this is for construction. It's downloading as an Excel document. Looks very similar to that A&E one that we talked about. And it just shows the district, shows it's all the contracts that Caltrans is planning over the next 12 months and the proposed advertised date. So be on the lookout and be ready to, right? Go ahead and close that Excel document. And I'm going to go quickly into the awards tab. And here is the awards tab shows the details of what's been awarded recently. So you can go to the post bid files right here. And what that does is it includes the 3 lowest bids, the awards. It's a great place for you to go to see what a bid looks like. So you can click any of these bid books and see how the Caltrans bid is formatted and to see how bids from certified small businesses and disabled veteran business enterprises or DBEs are incorporated into the bid. So Caltrans near me right here is where I would click, and there's the map of all the districts. Jose, where are you from?
Yeah, he doesn't have his microphone, but Jose, where do you live? LA. Okay, there you go.
LA. So you're District 7 right here.
District 7.
And so what you would do in order to find that DSBL is you'd go over to the Office of Civil Rights, right? Which actually I didn't show you this way. I went through Contractors. Just keep it the same as what I did before. There's so many different ways to get there, but you go back to the Office of Civil Rights website, which you can also Google to get there. And here is your list of DSBLs, District Small Business Liaisons. Any other questions?
District 7 is down below there, if you can show them.
Yes, Michelle Scott. She's a new DSBL, very efficient. She just put on an outreach with LA Metro on Prompt Payment Act. So that was good.
Jose, if you want it, the easy way to do that, just go to Google and type in Caltrans Office of Civil Rights, and that'll take you right to that main page.
All right. We're going to go ahead and I'm just going to point out that there are a lot of DSBLs, and there is a list. You can find them by Googling, as Bob just said, the Caltrans Office of Civil Rights, and clicking the DSBL contact. There are some resource links. This PowerPoint will be sent to you after this event. Note that there are upcoming events. Bob, do you want to share some of the save the dates in the chat?
I already did that.
Oh, perfect. All right. And then of
Got it in
course,
there.
I'm sorry about that. And so if you're watching, thanks for your time, and special thanks to our partners, Jada in District 4, Jessica in District 9, Abigail from CPM Logistics, of course, Michael Aguillio from DPS, and Bob from D10.